Everyone, thank you for joining me. This is Elvira. Satnam, Namaste, and love to everybody who is going through this path of being a light warrior right now and an empath, whatever you want to call it. Right now, we are in the eye of the storm, and there's a lot that is going to happen in 2021. So this is kind of a perspective to help everybody be able to cope and get through 2021 in as much light as possible. So how do we prepare basically to be able to get through it in a much more smooth way, stronger and confident? Because there's a lot of turmoil right now and we have to find ways to overpower it. So as my black cat joins me right now. So basically the first thing is I'm gonna list off 6 things and just go into some details. So the first thing on how to prepare as a light warrior, a light worker basically, is to focus on the bigger picture versus the little nitty-gritty details. Okay, so that is key in trying to get through, because sometimes a lot of us, even if we are light workers and empaths and healers, we will start to get sucked into those little battles and 3D realities and stuff that's going on. So really you need to choose your battles. Are you going to use your energy more to fight corruption, or are you going to stand in your power, your love, and your light? Are you going to uplift everyone's energy? Because if you imagine everybody was living in love and faith, how would that compare to people living in fear and anger, right? So ideally, you want to be able to see the bigger picture of what's going on. Like, so again, are you going to take someone to court for not honoring your rights? Are you going to continue arguing about, masks and vaccines? And for some, this might be the way to go. Maybe that is your purpose here. But a lot of us light workers, light warriors, you will use your energy elsewhere, and you'll choose your battles wisely, because the energy needs to be funneled in towards more upliftment and staying within your own power. So the bigger picture is that the energetic transformation is happening right now. And whether, there's good or bad things going on, it's energy that's moving. There's no label of good or bad, right? So you don't need to attach to what's right and what's wrong. You just have to see it as necessary for this divine order. And that is what's going to help us get through more smoothly, is just knowing that it's part of the divine plan. Okay, so bigger picture versus the little nitty-gritty details. So the second thing is going for your passions. So when I say this, it's a lot of people have kind of got stuck in this kind of system, and it's not necessarily joy inducing. Like a lot of us feel like we have no choice but to stay in this corrupt society. But if you stay focused on what drives you and helps you bring joy and creativity, you will focus on more positive outcomes that way, and you encourage other people. You become an inspiration for other people to do the same, right? So if you can, try to go back to your childhood and remember the things that you used to like to do, like maybe it's art or dance or playing music or playing certain sports. Maybe you take care of, like, you liked animals, or you like being in the garden, whatever it may be, because if you create your life around your passions, you will create more abundance. So some people think, the opposite, but actually if you focus on what it is that you truly are passionate about and good at, and you will not feel like you're working. So if you live in passion, you become more of a sovereign being, and you will be able to find ways to break free of the systems, which is basically you work, you eat, you sleep, and you repeat, right? So this is a lot of people are stuck in that system. So if you can learn to come out of that through regaining your sense of your inner child and your joy, and going back to your passions, you don't necessarily need to be stuck in that cycle. Okay? So the third one is clear vision. And it's really important, especially amongst what's going on right now, to have a clear vision of what you want and where you want to be and who you are. Really, you should say it in the present tense, who you are and where you are, because the more you have that vision, the more that you will manifest that around you. And the more strong and detailed this vision is of who you are and where you are, the more likely you'll be able to draw it to you. So it really doesn't matter what's happening around us right now, because what's happening around us can, kind of fool us into thinking, oh yeah, that future, it's not possible. I don't know if that's going to happen really because of all this stuff that's going on. But you know what? We need to stay away from that and focus more on that consciousness of freedom and elevated type of lifestyle where everything is in abundance for us, because we stuck to our light and our vision and our love inside us. Okay? So that power of manifestation that we all have, it trumps anything that's going on right now. The next thing is a little bit different. The fourth thing is having extra supplies, and being practical is still necessary, but you're not doing it out of fear, okay? Because what's happening is we are in a huge flux, a huge transformation and awakening right now, and anything can happen. And because it's a bit of like, it's nothing that's happened, like it's something very different, okay? So we have to be prepared for anything, and we are still living in this physical body, so it's hard to just escape and just not be in this physical body. So we have to live as if we are in need of proper, survival things, which means extra food, extra water, extra heating options, and even just anything you need to get through a potential shutdown. So, there might be something that goes on that's part of the entire awakening, and there could be a shortage of supplies. I'm not saying that this will happen, but regardless of whatever is going on, it's always good to have extra things just to feel like you're not going to panic if something does happen where you can't get supplies all of a sudden. So these are just things to keep in mind, simply because yes, we can go into our love and our light, but we also have to be grounded and know that we are here on this physical earth, and we have to stay in a very proactive state as well, to be able to support ourselves through any physical shifts in terms of our environment and what we're capable of keeping within our reach, which may be harder to do as things get potentially worse before they get better, okay? The fifth thing that I wanted to mention to get through 2021 is really just look at your support system. And I mean people that you have basically befriended in 2020 or who have come closer to you in 2020. And these are your people, okay? So this year has brought people closer together and certain of the similar vibration, and then has also pushed away or brought apart some people, and those people are not of the same vibration. So the ones who you've drawn closer, usually you can be more of yourself, and that's really important for our evolution and our ascension into the future. So you really need to focus on just bringing those people more into your energetic field so you can work together in the future to create the life that you want. And it may not mean that you live in the same place, but there's always that support system where if you know, let's say you fall off that elevated consciousness and you start to get dragged into the fear, you have other people who really understand, and maybe they're not falling down and they can help you back up. They're people maybe you can build communities with and start to create this abundant life that you want to create. So it's community and unity consciousness. It's going to be one of the outcomes of this ascension process that we're going through. So that's why it's really important to keep these people around so you can support each other to get to this space even more easily. Okay? And the last thing is, the sixth thing is rising above the illusion. Okay? Now, I did talk about this in the other videos, and you have to remember it's a puppet show, it's a narrative, it's a story, it's a movie. It's not real. Okay? So it's based on ego, money, power, control, and it's a very, very old system that has taken over humanity, and it's not actually based on truth. It's based on those things, like, which are very egotistical things, and it's fear-based. Okay, if we were all living in love and unity consciousness, none of this would exist. But it's the love and the light that is going to win in the end. So if you want to focus your energy on the fear, okay, and the fearful outcomes, then you will make that more real. So you have to rise above the illusion, okay? The reality, the real story is that we are sovereign beings and we are of light. And the darkness cannot overpower the light, okay? The light will always overpower the darkness. The darkness right now, it's an illusion. It is not love. It is not who we are. You can overpower it by blasting it with love. Okay? The more you love, the more likely it will drown in that love. How do I explain it? If you hate the system and the illusion that's happening right now, you'll feed it. It's like you're feeding the dark with more darkness. All right? So you have to remember and know that we are multidimensional beings. We have come here, a lot of us light workers, light warriors, we're here to ascend and help the planet to ascend back to a 5D unity consciousness, 5-dimensional, all right? We're more powerful than the illusions, and this is what is keeping us strong in the face of this elusive turmoil. Like, we staying in that light warrior space and consciousness will bring everything up to that. We have to go through the darkness and witness it. So it's like you're observing the story play out because you know it's part of the process. You're not attaching to it, and you watch it with neutrality because you know it's an illusion, and we are not that. It's like, it's really like we are watching a movie. Usually the good guys win, okay? You have to stay in that faith and that trust that we are all going to be okay. But when shit hits the fan and things are going to get a bit worse, as they are, as some of you know and see and feel, you just have to stay in that space of trust and rise above that illusion, okay? So those are the 6 things. I'm just going to go over them. So seeing the bigger picture versus the nitty-gritty details, going for your passions, having your clear vision for the future as if it's here already, just practically getting extra supplies for yourself because we are in the midst of chaos a little bit, right? Having your support system, those people of the same vibration, bring them closer to you, start working together, making plans for the future, and rising above the illusion, okay? So that is ultimately, if you can rise above the illusion, you will get through this without a doubt. We're all going to make it through. And stick to your people, because you will always have someone to talk to if you stick to the people who understand, who appreciate, and know what we're doing here and why we're here as light warriors, okay? All right, so thank you for listening. If you like this video, please click like. I'm sending you lots of love and strength through this time. We'll make it through. Just hang in there. Thank you. Namaste.